sort of building upon what Lourdes said about, you know, the inspiration for the red jacket, which is a pretty important part of your brand, kind of came from an outside source. And it seems to me that a lot of times the most interesting content does not come from the people who are in the C-suites. You know, it comes from people who are on the street or from diverse sources. So I'm just wondering, how do you incorporate some of that content that's out there that's interesting without your brand sort of becoming too sterile and too structured and that type of thing?
So, you know, we went through a whole brand exercise of really looking at our brands and how for a long time we were kind of all over the place. And while we're a national organization, we wanted to speak with one voice. And it was difficult because we did lots of different things. If you went to, we were kind of like McDonald's. Like you could find a filet of fish on every menu, but every McDonald's looked different, right? And while we appreciated that you needed to have the flavor of the particular city you were in, it made it really difficult to talk about what city or was, because what weren't we? We were everything. And so as we started to really refine our service, we saw the need to really refine who we are. And it was difficult for us because Teach for America, for instance, you get it. Teach for America. Habitat for Humanity. Habitat, humanity, I get it. City year. So when we started to go through this work, we realized when we were talking to our funders in the greater community, we were saying one thing. We were talking to our core members, we were saying a totally different thing. And so what we never did is we never asked either of these groups what they thought, ironically. So as we went through this branding exercise, the company that we worked with actually had like covert operatives go to our retreats with our core members to hear what our core members were saying. Like literally at our retreat at the beginning of the year, we like take them out to the woods and it's like a total immersion experience. A little scary sometimes. So we had these people who were like undercover and were listening to core member conversations. And it was interesting because even the people at our organization who thought they were totally connected with our core members and had been there forever were like shocked and amazed at some of the feedback that they had gotten back. You know, so I think it was a really good exercise for us to, and a reality check that we needed to listen to people. And I think that we were taking our greater family for granted. You know, we weren't asking them the right questions. We weren't asking them, what does this feel like for you? You know, and we weren't asking them at the right time, because it's difficult once you're in City Year and you've been wearing this jacket, you have a very different perspective. And so to capture them at the very beginning after they've gone through this process and they've been super inspired, and then all of a sudden we take you out to the woods and you're like, oh my God, I've joined a cult. This is crazy. What is going on? You share, it's pretty raw data. Yeah, it's like a visceral reaction. And so I think that taught us about the timing and about when to ask those questions. And it also taught us to be better listeners, and especially at a time when, you know, we realized we didn't know it all, right? And this was a problem, and how could we solve it? So does that kind of answer your question?